it's funny because I have like before the network ruined everything. I had this really extensive wrestling DVD collection. I have every WrestleMania, every documentary, every unpublished WWE documentary like uh, Wrestling with Shadows, Beyond the Mat,
Yeah.
Hardcore was it Hardcore Heaven? Not Hardcore Heaven.
Hardcore Diaries, I think.
Yeah, Hardcore Diaries. I mean all of them. And I remember when Flatline did the March of Champions DVD, I was like, I'm gonna get this because for less than 20 seconds, your boy Mikey Gulino comes out with me. It was me and Hager, and he was in the Battle Royal, and he comes out, and let me try that. I think it was Hex. He comes out and grabs Hex by the throat and Jacoby by the throat to go double choke slam them. And they look at him and they throw him over the ropes on top of me, and then we walk to the back. But for 20 seconds, I'm on that DVD. And I still like, everyone's like, man, you got so many wrestling DVDs. Which is your favorite? I was like, this one. Because I'm able to say, out of all that collection, like, hey, I'm on a DVD.
Yeah, I mean, I think you might actually be on some, at least a Livewire DVD. I know
Mm.
that. So there
Oh,
is that.
I need to pick up one of them then. Where are those at?
They are on the Livewire website. Some are still in production, like
Okay.
the 2015 DVDs. Those are all still in production.
Okay.
So,
You let
but
me know because I will sell you out on those. I'm
yeah,
still,
man.
dude. I still pick up. I mean, I've been slacking a little bit on the documentary side. I still haven't watched the Owen Hart one, which blows my mind because I'm such a huge Owen Hart fan. I know
Right.
that doesn't make sense after saying that, but I was the one dude when I was a kid that no matter what he did, like you hated him, but you're like, why do I like him though?
Yeah.
It's like this love hate relationship you had with him, and it's too soon, man. I always thought, I mean, growing up, you watch, people might hate me for saying this, mostly probably Wiggins, because I know he loves Bret Hart, but I thought Owen was better. As I'm older now, I look at it. As a kid, you don't see it, but I always thought, like, I watched, the WrestleMania 10 match. Like, I think Owen really outshined Bret in this match. I mean, of course, it was to Owen's advantage because he won, but still, like after that, that
Right.
story. I mean, you look okay. The story of Owen beats Bret. Owen's like, "Oh, I'm better than Bret. I'm Bret. I'm better. I'm better. I'm better." And then Bret wins the title at the end of the night and gets hosted. Like they all pick him up on their shoulders, and it's like Owen comes back out and he's got this look on his face that tells a story that can't even get put into words. It's like he's sitting there. He's like, I beat my older brother, but yet he's still with the championship. What the hell is this? And you
Right.
felt bad for him. He was so good at playing that role. Even if he did win the title, I probably wouldn't like it because it's like, no, you're always supposed to be in Brett's shadow and be better than him, but not get recognized as it. I feel like that was his character.
Right. Like I was, I like Brett until he gave the kid that rushed past me the pair of sunglasses
Oh,
at a house show, and then I was
dude,
like, you know what? I'm an Owen fan.
dude, you have. So I wasn't gonna share this story because I was like, man, I don't know, I don't. You saying that, but it was '94, and it was during Owen Hart's heel run, and Owen Hart's heel run, like he had a babyface run, maybe for like 6 months. But it was after the show, and Brett had walked to the back, and Owen was, cameras were off, and all of a sudden he's shaking hands with all these kids. I'm a kid. I don't know wrestling's not real. First off, let me correct myself. I didn't know wrestling wasn't staged. I don't like
Right.
saying not real. That's bothers me when I say that. But so he doesn't know. Oh, I don't know. And I'm like, well, why is he shaking everyone's hands? And he walks up and he takes off his sunglasses and he looks at me and I'm like, oh my god, this is really happening. Not Bret Hart, but Owen Hart is giving me his sunglasses. And as this is happening, a kid grabs me by the back of my shirt and like literally pulls me through this crowd like it's a zombie apocalypse. And I'm like getting just pulled back through this crowd and this other kid gets the sunglasses and I swear like heart crushed, dude. No pun intended.
Oh man.
But I'll never forget, and I have a very similar story to your Brett story. I mean, those are the moments, you know. I mean, that was the same. I was a huge Luger fan when he did the Lex Express and stuff like that when I was a kid, and my mom loved Lex Luger to a point where she was like obsessed with him. And he was doing the signing. She's like, "Oh, we gotta see Lex. We gotta see Lex." I'm like, "All right, let's go." So we go to the signing, and there's a little bit of a line there, not too bad. And he signs my mom's picture without even looking up at her. And then she's like, "Hey, do you mind if I get a picture?" And he said, "No, I don't have time," and like shoved her away. And
Ugh.
I swear to God, like I wanted to punch him in the dick or something because I was so angry. And from that moment, like it's still to this day, like I cannot stand Lex Luger.
I
And
mean,
because of that moment, dude, it just rubs you the wrong way, man.
I'm glad I have an official reason to not like Lex Luger because I've just
Uh,
not liked Luger for a long time. I just
yeah.
haven't. I just didn't like the guy.
Mm.
I firmly believe he had something to do with Miss Elizabeth, but you
Oh,
know,
there's when that came out, I was like, yeah. I thought, I mean, not to say that Miss Elizabeth wasn't her own roller coaster ride of a story anyway, but being with that guy probably
yeah,
didn't help.
didn't help anything.
No.
No, not at all. Man, front row. That that's in the mid lower level than front row. That is nothing but heartbreak there.
Oh, I mean, it really. I mean, there was. I mean, I'm from originally from Totowa, New Jersey. There's no gimmick in Mikey Gulino with that. So that's the truth. We moved to Poconos, Pennsylvania, and there when Raw first started, they were in like a loop. They would do a loop of like New York, New Jersey, PA, and then they would go down to like they would go to Philly and then come back up. But they would always stop through, and the thing was, at the time Raw wasn't live. It was
Right.
they would record 3 or 4 episodes. So you would go to a Raw taping and you would be in there all day. It was amazing. As a kid, have all this energy. You just go watch wrestling for 6 hours.
Yeah.
And every time my dad would get tickets and we'd go out there and it'd be in a building no smaller than a gym. Monday Night Raw, and then we'd have the best tickets, and at the time in the '90s, they'd walk right through the front door. So my dad would like, because he worked in that area, he would call us up and be like, "Hey, you guys need to come down here. All the wrestlers are coming in." So we'd sit at the front door and just watch them all come in. And I mean, to a point where Razor Ramon's held my baby sister because that was her favorite wrestler.
Wow.
Razor Damone, that's what she used to call him when she was like a little baby, and he was like, and my mom was like, "Oh my God, you're my daughter's favorite," and he goes, "Oh," and he goes to pick her up, and she's screaming bloody murder, and he's like, all right, I'm sorry." He's like giving her back. I mean,
Oh
those are
man.
the stories, man. I mean, here's the biggest one for me was we went to the restaurant across the street from it, and we walk into the restaurant, and sure enough, Macho Man's sitting down eating lunch, and I'm like, oh my god, there's Macho Man, and it's like me, my brother, my sister, my mom, and my mom was like, let's go talk to him. I'm like, no, he's eating lunch. And we go up to talk to him, nicest dude in the world. He invites us to sit down with him and have lunch with him. Swear to you, but
Wow.
then when this happens, my sister's, of course, crying and screaming bloody murder. And my mom's giving us this look like, all right, we got to get out of here. And I'm like, Still to this day, you can ask my sister, be like, "What's the one thing your brother holds against you?" Still, like not eating lunch with Macho Man. Still, like,
Wow,
yeah, I mean, 20 years ago too. You know.
that is pretty awesome right there.
I mean, those are the things. I didn't know much about WCW other than I knew about the cruiserweights and knew about NWO, but when you move when we moved to Georgia, just everyone's like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa! You watch WWF?" And I'm like, "Yeah." I mean, this is before the Attitude Era really took off, so
Yeah.
people are giving me these dirty looks, like, "Dude, it's the NWO. What are you, crazy?" I'm like, "But I like the 1, 2, 3 Kid," and they're like, had to do quite the adjusting when I moved down here.
Oh man, I remember. I always watched, try to balance both, but it was more WCW was on a lot more. I feel like
Mm,
I know the 6:05 Eastern time was more accessible
yeah.
on a Saturday. Not doing anything, just watch Saturday night. I remember my front row story was the TNA house show in Aiken,
Okay.
and it was AJ Styles versus somebody. I want to say maybe Jay Lethal.
Uh
I want to say, and he threw the guy outside, and AJ looked like he was about to dive. So I'm like,
huh.
"Yeah, do a dive," and he goes, points dead at me, yells, "You don't dictate my match," and then calmly walks out of the ring.
Oh my
And I'm
god.
like, "Oh man, I done ruined the match for everybody." I
Was
felt so bad about that.
was that the same show that he pushed a fan?
No, that was the next time they would come to. I think it was Aiken actually.
I was about to say because I know the guy because when I watched the video and it blows my mind because the video has like 100,000 views and was like reported on the dirt sheets and I was like, that used to be my roommate.
Yeah, didn't he do sound at one point?
He was for a very short period. He was like either he did something with Flatline.
Okay, yeah,
Before
I
that was
remember
before I
that.
came
Yeah,
through, but yeah, he was doing something for Flatline, and I wasn't there at the show, but I remember hearing about it. I was like, no, this didn't happen, and then sure enough, there's a video of it, and I'm like, Jesus.
AJ's never gonna come back to Aiken after that. Now,
Yeah,
he's two shows and done. He's just never again.
yeah, for real.
He's done. So now that you've been into business, we've talked
Okay.
about some of your favorite matches before you broke in. Now that you understand how things work, do you have any different opinions on workers since that you've grown up? And like any favorite matches that you've gone back and rewatched and said, that wasn't a terrible match or
Mm.
anything like that?
Um, let's see. I feel like for some reason I can enjoy. I've always enjoyed the Attitude Era, and I've always enjoyed even past that 2000 to 2005,
Mm,
era. Believe it or not, the biggest thing for me since I've been able to kind of dip in the business. Well, first off, like I'm not a wrestler, so like there's only this might be a little bit iffy because I don't know nearly as much as any of those guys in the locker room. I maybe know a little pinch of sand, but I would have to say like being more of a John Cena fan. I mean, that would be the biggest thing for me is when I can see what goes into a wrestling match now, and I can see the hard work that really traveling the roads and working towards an end result in a match, and I don't know if it's me that's changed or Cena that's changed, but like I don't completely hate him. When I did, when I was younger, when I was, 19, 20, it was a different story.
right.
Cena, no, 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 no. And I mean, I think it might be a both, like him getting better and me understanding wrestling more. That kind of like, I mean, I could watch. I mean, one of my favorite matches, that Kevin Owens John Cena, the first one, incredible. Like, and it told the story that needed to be told, and I thought, everyone thought, okay, well, there goes Owens. He's about to job to Cena. That's what everyone's mentality was. If you said Owens is going over, no way in hell. No one thought that, and first match in the business, and he takes out the biggest guy,
Right.
you
Yeah.
know, and, that's something you got to respect. And the match itself, and he had the triple threat with him and Lesnar and Rollins was amazing. And it was like, and all of them were good at it. So I think it's not so much, stuff back then that, I can rewatch. I don't rewatch anything and be like, oh, well, this isn't as much as good as I thought it'd be. But now I can watch wrestling now and be like, oh, well, that was a good match. Like, I'm not that biased wrestling fan that hates a wrestler because he looks a certain way. I give everyone, if I'm watching something, I give everyone a clean slate. Whatever, it doesn't matter who you are. I enjoyed Ryback Kalisto from WrestleMania. I thought it was a great match. And it's like, I gave Ryback, because I'm not a huge Ryback fan, but I gave it a clean slate. I was like, let me just enjoy this. And I mean, it was like me, Ethan, and Wade were watching it. And it was on the pre show, and we watched it, got done, and we all kind of looked at each other because, like, no one wanted to say it. And they're like, that was a pretty good match. Like, yeah, I thought so too. He didn't, no one expected that. And, I think being in the business, you kind of, with no pun intended, smarten you up to, those kind of things. You learn so much, just not even wrestling wise, just psychology wise. As a
Right.
manager, that's I feel like that's my biggest thing I need to learn. You got wrestlers, their in ring work and the charisma, and so much goes into that. But like, my lifting weights is psychology. That's my in ring training is promos. That's the more of the mental game that I'm trying to accomplish. And now I can see that more and more in wrestling, the stories that they're telling, even the managers, the stuff that Paul Heyman does and why he did that or why he said that. Why did he walk that way? Why did he make Lesnar do this? Why did he say, it's like everything has a purpose. And I'm able to see that a lot more in wrestling. So that's really cool.
Yeah, I have to agree with you there. Like one of my main ones, William Regal.
Oh, yes. Oh,
I'll
yeah.
probably get some heat for that, but 13, 14-year-old me would
Oh
not
yeah,
have
dude.
enjoyed William Regal.
No, without a doubt, dude. I mean, that's a perfect example. But you watch them now and you love it, don't you?
Exactly. I watch everything I can on
Yeah.
Regal. I'm steadily watching old WCW pay per views, Regal Steamboat.
Oh yeah.
I love it. I can't get enough of it, and I'm just like, wow, why did I not force myself to get into this a long time ago? Because I didn't
Exactly.
understand it.
Exactly. You understand those. Lance Storm was another one for me. I could not stand him
Right.
as a kid, but I watch him now. I'm like, Jesus. I was never like big on the ECW thing. Like, I'd watch it from time to time, so I didn't get that dose of Lance Storm. My first experience with Lance Storm was WCW, and
Oh,
he was
oh,
even still toned down a little bit.
yeah.
But and you rewatch him now, and I'm just like, I can watch anything Lance Storm versus anybody, and I know it's gonna be great.
Manager wise, like, who do you go to for, like, inspiration?
Oh, without a doubt, no question, Bobby Heenan. I mean, the thing is, I'll take Bobby Heenan as the biggest aspect of where my character draws to, but also Paul Heyman is a big thing, and I know that's might be a typical answer for managers, but what he's done in the past, few years with whether it be Punk or Lesnar or even Curtis Axel for that short time, or even Cesaro. He's incredible at doing that. Uh, and it's the thing is in this generation, and I said this before with someone else, that the managers in the '80s were there to hide the fact that the wrestler couldn't talk. You know, you had the Heenan family was Andre and King Kong Bundy, and I mean the list of just people that had the look but didn't have the charisma. You know, and
Right.
it's like Heenan was there to give them that charisma, so they didn't have to talk. I mean, Andre couldn't cut up. Andre could barely speak English, but
Right.
he was such a huge deal because he was such a huge man in the ring, and then he had Heenan to talk for him, and it's like that was what the business was with managers. Now you're in 2016, and WWE wants a guy that can talk and wrestle, so it's like, where's the manager fit in with that? And I've always said it's any guy that I've ever worked with as a manager is somebody that already has that it factor, and I'm just there to enhance that. And I feel like that's what Heyman does with that when Heyman and Punk were together. Punk did
Right.
not need Paul Heyman whatsoever, but when Heyman was with Punk, it enhanced this character to a whole different level. So it's just like, from I've managed on the regular way, like the Gulino family. All of those dudes spectacular as far as charisma. I mean, you look at Wade, Oz Knight, and then I had Rob Killjoy and James Drake. I would tell them when I like because I've known those two probably maybe a year now, about year and a half maybe, and amazing dudes, and I can't tell you how lucky I am to be able to work with dudes like Rob Killjoy or James Drake because I mean those guys, I mean just amazing. And I thought we cut out for a second. That's why I paused. I was like, "Uh
Oh.
oh, my
No.
phone died."
No, I'm still here. Still here.
Okay. But I mean, Rob Killjoy talking to the crowd. It's like I don't need to be there. James Drake, Oz Knight, Wade Adams. I mean, James Drake is one of the most intense people to talk to the crowd. I mean, you don't. I don't need to be anywhere in that factor to help them to do not anything, but to be able to be there to enhance that. To enhance that mentality of, they're a huge deal. They're already a huge deal. I'm just there to be that connector, that kind of chain that connects from, the wrestling match to the crowd. I'm that guy in the front row that's cheering for the bad guy, and you hate me so much that the guy that I'm managing could be wrestling a guy in all black tights and a black mask, but you would cheer for that guy just because you hate me because I'm cheering for the guy that I came out with. And it's like being that connector to almost make the crowd feel like they're part of the match is kind of what I'm doing. And it's a very thin line that you have to walk as a manager, is that thin line that you don't want to take away from the match. You don't want to take away from what they're doing in the ring. You just want to walk that thin line to get the crowd into it, but don't get the heat for yourself. Get the
Right.
heat for your guy in the ring. So I'm always sitting there, and Heyman does it, and Heenan does it. I'll talk crap to the crowd, but I'll be pointing in the ring, like directing their attention to the ring. I'll look at someone that's booing me and like, did you just see what he did? He did that for you because you keep running your mouth. It's like always direct their attention over there. Don't ever, I'm never trying to direct attention to look what I did. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, from Paul Heyman, Bobby Heenan, even Ted DiBiase is a big deal for me as far as managers. And a lot of people are like, well, you did. And I was like, yeah, he was. I mean, the dude's fantastic, and all those guys had that mentality, is to walk that thin line. Like Bobby Heenan was probably one of the most hated people in the '80s, but
Yeah.
no one, was gonna boo him when he came out because guess what? He was always out there with the Heenan family. So they got, Heenan would just sit there and like, on the side of the ring and then, do his thing, interfere when he needed to. But it's like he was so good at being that connector piece from the crowd to the ring that, I can watch that and be like, okay, well, that's what a manager does. Bill Alfonso was amazing too, but almost to a point where it's like when you blow the whistle and you're jumping up and down, it's like
Too much
you're
attention.
obnoxious, but are you taking away from the match? I mean,
Yeah.
it's no one's to really say because I mean ECW was its own breed. You can't really
Yeah.
say who's right and who's wrong, but he was so good at being so obnoxious. I mean, I can hear him talking in my head, and it's like making my skin like crawl right now.
Yeah, like I feel that a lot of managers they do cross that line, and
Mhm.
they end up getting too much heat on themselves,
Exactly.
and they forget that there's a match going on,
Hmm.
and that's one thing that a lot of people don't. They can't balance that line
Yeah.
quite right, and it's an art form, and I don't think a lot of people understand how easy, or that it's not easy to just hop out the ring and take on managerial duties because I
Uh,
mean I've done it and I'd rather do a 7 minute match myself
yeah.
after doing that, but I mean
I
it's
mean,
not bad, but you
yeah.
know
I mean, it's tough because like you don't want to walk out there and be the most hated person. You want your the guy that you come out there with to be the most hated because you're so obnoxious. Like it's like the guilty by association, but it's almost like you point over. When when to draw attention, crowd into it. You never want to. Big move comes up, they're going for the pin. You don't want to be running your mouth to the crowd because guess what?
right.
Their focus needs to be on that pin. God forbid it's the 3 count and the match is over. You just stole away from the whole entire finish. And
Exactly.
it's like for me the biggest spot like any rest hold any headlock or something like that. Talk crap to the crowd. Talk crap to the crowd because guess what? When they're on the ground and they got their headlock like that, and I'm like, you see what all my guys doing to him? You see what he's doing to him? And then all of a sudden you get that one guy in the back that starts clapping. You can tell him, "Hey, shut up! Don't you clap! Don't you clap!" And then look at everyone else. They're not even clapping yet, but you tell them to shut up, don't clap. They're gonna clap because they hate you. And all of a sudden, guess what? You're just feeding for this guy's comeback. And it's
Right.
like you getting the crowd up on their feet, getting up, even if it's a cutoff and they're back right back down. Then you look at the crowd and like, yeah, your clapping didn't mean anything. Then they start the guy in the ring starting to get heat, and all of a sudden they're gonna clap again, and then here comes a big comeback. And then you're taking them, you're almost telling them like, hey, let's take this roller coaster ride together. It's almost you're orchestrating kind of how the crowd's like, oh shit, look what he's doing there. You're just pointing out things in the ring that's already going on.
Right. All right. Let's play some name association.
Okay.
All right. I'm just gonna list a name. You say first thing that comes to mind about this person. It's gonna be
Oh.
random people across mostly CSRA, some from around the area, um, Carolina, Georgia, other places.
Okay.
All right.
Let's let's do it.
All right. Let's start with the fireman.
The fireman. Uh, one word.
It can be multiple words. Just
Okay.
first thoughts that come to mind.
Fireman. Professional. He is by far the most professional person. I mean, the dude he deserves absolutely everything from this wrestling world because I mean the dude has it all. If anyone screams WWE material, like that's the dude. I mean, from his shows to his refing ability to in ring promo. I mean, the dude's got it all. He's a pure professional and amazing dude.
All right. David Coleman.
David Coleman, um, that dude, I think got more heat in Flatline than people want to give him credit for. That dude, I loved every time he walked through. There were just he knows how to control that crowd to get that burning heat from them. And it was for a while like me and him, like I never when we were at Flatline and he would come out, I was like, dude, this guy's got like he just has that look that he walks out, he's like, I got this in the bag. Like not a lot of people can do that as a heel, and I've never seen him or even know if he does work babyface anywhere, but I would like to see that.
Very long ago.
Really,
Yeah, very long. Just as good.
really.
Yeah, might have to link up some videos here to
Yes,
you after
please. I would
this.
love to see it because, like I said, any heel work that I've seen him do was, I mean, that dude. Like I said, he knows how to control that crowd and very very good at it. And it it upset me because I didn't get to see him because when he had his injury was right when I started, picking up a little bit of steam at Flatline. So we never really got to share our locker room together. Even at the live wire shows, he was still, healing the injuries. So, that'd be something to see if me and Coleman ever linked up together. See what kind of
Yeah,
heat we could develop.
that would be some heat right there. All right, Cedric Alexander.
Truly, honestly, without a doubt, the best wrestler in the world. I am a firm believer of it. I've seen that guy wrestle at PWX every month now. I've seen him at Flatline. I've seen the dude has it, and without a doubt, best in the world. I'm going to leave it at that. That is the best in the world right now.
All right. Wade Adams.
Wade Adams, along with Brash and Ethan, they are my best friends in this business, and like I mean, I can write a book about the appreciation I have for that man. He is a genuine friend, a genuine wrestler. A, he has an amazing family. His wife's incredible. They're the nicest people in the world. That dude is Santa Claus in a bearded Tennessee man's body.
Okay. Ken Lee.
Ken Lee, I would feel like with me and Ken, we clicked on a level with music, and I always found that interesting because not a lot of, I have a very particular type of music that I would listen to, and that was one of the first conversations we had because he liked my friend's band Vera, and me and him cooked on a level. So I feel like it wouldn't be so much of a word association, but I feel like me and him definitely should have been going to more shows than I've seen him at. We'd go to like Vera shows and stuff, but I feel like we'd hit the road, go see go to a dinner member show or something like that. I think it'd be a lot of fun.
Carl Hager.
That's my dude right there. uh, I was a little, I was upset that we didn't get to do much at Flatline, but I was very excited when we had our thing at Livewire. So he's always been he's a fun guy. He's a fun character. I love his character. He knows how to yell at a crowd with me. I feel like me and him had some pretty good chemistry at Livewire.
Chris Wiggins.
Chris Wiggins. He is probably, I look at him like the godfather of the CSRA wrestling scene. To be like, if I were to say, I mean, there's other guys, of course, too. I've only been doing this for a little while, but he was the guy that when I got done at Flatline, I get done with the show, I'd shake his hand, and he'd be like, "Hey, great job tonight." That meant the world to me because he was the guy that I was looking to impress to get in the Flatline, and the dude, I mean, along with all those other guys at Flatline, are huge workhorses. I mean, from Caleb, Daniel, I mean, Wiggins, Casey, Amber, I mean, everybody up there that was helping set up, and just like he poured his heart out in the Flatline. And I know it was hard for them to, shut down in, the things that they did, but I mean, that to me is the Godfather. I look for him for his approval, and like I said, I've known him since high school and stuff. And I remember him talking about wrestling in high school, and I was like, "Hey, how do I get a part of this?" So, I mean, me and him go back since high school, but it's awesome to see, he's doing stuff with Refn and stuff, and him still chasing that down. So it's really cool.
All right. Adrian Davis.
Adrian Davis, me and Adrian have quite the history together, which is awesome. If I feel like if anybody has hit me more times and dived on me more times, it's probably Adrian Davis. So I love the dude. He's one of the thing is like he can get in the ring with anybody and have a completely different match with every single person, and it's amazing. Like I've seen him and James Drake have brawls, like hard hitting brawls where it's hard for me. Like there's a funny story I always tell him. It was him versus James Drake, and I don't know if you've seen, heard, or felt James Drake's chops.
Oh yeah.
They are nasty, and he gets him in the corner and he chops him so hard. And I guess he's feeding out to do. They're going to do something else, and I'm just in the mood. I'm like, hit him again, hit him again. And Drake's like, all right, and he puts him in the corner. And I can just see Davis like look at me like, you motherfucker. But I mean, he loves it. Him and James Drake tore the house down, and I get the pleasure. He's working the UCW shows. He's out in WECW shows. He's actually the champion out there. I can't remember what the title belt it's like their intercontinental title belt. So he's a champion out there, and it's to see him at a show. When I walk in the locker room and I see Adrian Davis, I know we're gonna have some fun.
All right. Cameron Cade.
Cameron Cade, not too familiar with him. I've worked, the Livewire shows with him. They had I remember seeing him at Flatline a few times when he was doing the what was it the pink polo, and
Yeah.
he'd pull out the hanger and he'd hang up the polo, and I was like, this dude, like, I don't know him personally, but what he does in the ring, I mean, he's got it, like Coleman, like he knows how to fucking draw that heat, and he, like I said, I haven't worked too many shows with him. I'd like to. That would be another one if me and him walked out together and see what we can develop from that crowd. That'd be very interesting.
All right. And last one for this session. Brandon Parker.
Brandon Parker, I absolutely love that man. He was another driving force in me with Flatline. At the time, I think he was working with the booking team, and he was pushing for my name out there too. And he was one of the guys that kind of came up to me and talked to me. And he's another dude I took quite a few nasty dives from Parker too. So we've had I think they had a one. It was like Gulino family versus Parker, Davis, and Fireman. So those three guys, I think, were the dudes that I think I was able to work with my guys the most, and just learning from them. And just you see Parker anytime I see Parker in any locker room, open arms, like give him a hug. Like he's just that kind of guy. Always got a smile on his face when he sees me, and that's what I want. If I
Right.
can show up in the locker room and a guy smiles and opens up his arms, I'm like, okay. I don't ever want to show up in a locker room and people like shit, and just kind of shake my hand and walk the other way. I want to have some fun, and that's the dude to be around.
Yeah, I mean that's. I would hope everyone would want to be like that, but
Exactly.
unfortunately, there are several people
Hmm.
that are not like that. They're just come into a locker room and it's like, this guy's on the show.
Exactly. Like I don't ever feel like that with anybody, and it's like I might not know you, and I am more than willing to you know sit there like the amount of friends that I made just in a locker room, just shooting the shit. That's what it's all about. These you guys are all here with the same purpose, is to put on a great show. Does someone
Right.
say, "Oh, well, we're going to put on a match of the night"? Like, yeah, that's what everyone needs to do. But in the end, the end result is like you can put on match of the night, but was it a great show? You guys are all here for that same purpose, and regardless of who someone is or what background someone comes from, it's like you guys are all there for that purpose. And if I can put a smile on everyone's face in the locker room and put a frown on everyone's faces in the crowd because they hate me and they hate the guy I'm with, then job well done for me. That's
Right.
the main goal.
All right. Do you have any upcoming projects? Like I know you said you're working on PWX coming up. Any other shows or
Well, I got,
current
yeah.
bookings?
Um, PWX is the the big prize in the sky for me. That's the brass ring that I'm gonna get, and I say I'm gonna get because I'm determined and I want that, and that's in my sight. So that's my end goal for now. I'm also working, just worked this a UCW show out in Thompson, or Deering. I'm sorry. There's maybe something upcoming in Thompson. I've been NAWA in Drexel, North Carolina. Uh, won't be working out there this month because it runs with the PWX date, but the following month I will be out there. Um, Also with WECW in Millen, Georgia, and hopefully Fireman will have something coming up. And cross my fingers for something maybe with Bushido. They got an amazing roster, so that would be always something that would be a lot of fun. The locker room for that is speaks for itself. Amazing from Effie to Zane Riley to Ethan Case, James Drake. I mean, there it doesn't stop. So I'm the kind of guy that I will reach out and I'll try to get as many bookings as possible. If I can have an entire weekend where all I do is jump from show to show to show, I mean, I feel like that's for anyone that's the dream. So
Of course. Oh man, I remember the days of the triple shot weekends. Those oh man, the Epsom salt bass on
oh
Monday.
god,
Those
that's a it's
that,
that's the
that was
funny story because it's like we get in the back and I'm like I'm blown up and I'm like limping around and people were like, "Did you wrestle?" Like, no, I'm just really out of shape. I'm like sitting there like, what was it, the this past Saturday? Like I'm running away from a guy after I pulled his foot down from the hot tag, and I go to leap over a chair and I tweak my back, and I'm like, son of a bitch. And I'm getting injured just doing nothing. I didn't even take a bump, and I'm like limping through the curtain, and it's like, I mean, that just proves the pain and the risks that you guys take in that ring. Is
right.
it blows my mind. Just to go out there as a manager and being able to be like, okay, well, I walked away safe. I mean, it's a risk every time you guys go out there, man.
Yeah, and some of those rings, they're pretty high off the
No,
ground. Cause
yeah,
I remember the show we did in December.
mm,
After the show, everyone's out of the ring celebrating. It was a dedication show, and everybody's out there, having a good time, and I come to the back. I was bloodied up and everything, and I look around, I didn't see anybody, and I just see you laying on a couch, and I was like,
Oh yeah,
what are you still doing back here? And that's when you told me you had hurt your back getting off the ring, and I was like, wow,
yeah.
yeah,
Well, yeah,
that
that was
that
at the
happens.
time. Yeah, it's I actually had this for during that time I had this sciatic nerve pain for some reason, and it came out of nowhere, and it shot straight up my left leg, and that's what it would come and go. So like it felt like almost like all my muscles were just my whole entire leg with Charlie horse, and it would happen for like 6 months, and that was during the one time I was like I hopped down from the apron and just shot right up my leg, and I was just like because usually like okay well a gym floor is one thing but it's like you're on that concrete and it
Yeah.
just dropped down pop and I just felt it go straight up my leg. I was like but yeah I remember you walking in the back and you're like you're all right and I was like are you all right? Like, you look like
Yeah, because I was like, wait, do I look that bad?
yeah
And then I looked in
dude
the mirror and I was like,
yeah
oh, no wonder. I do look kind of rough, I guess. All
yeah
right, yeah, all right then. But yeah, you were just laying on the couch and I was like,
yeah
you
dude,
all
I
right?
was I was laid out, man. There was no moving me. I mean, I'm a big guy, so like things pop and things tighten
Oh
up.
yeah,
So it's
yeah,
like it's just like I need to get in shape. That's the bottom line.
yeah. Well, I mean, eh, it, things are gonna happen either way. I mean, Cena still gets hurt. Look how in shape he is. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's true.
it's gonna
That's true.
happen
Yeah.
eventually. To people. All right, man. We have been talking for an hour and 40 minutes.
Hell yeah. What opening episode, man.
Yeah, this has been, I think, a great opening episode. Maybe even be able to get two,
Oh,
possibly
dude. Yeah. Whatever you want to do, man.
two-part episode. Any final comments?
Um, just if you guys are looking to book Mikey Gulino, follow him on Instagram. That Instagram is Gike Molino. That's GikeMulino. It's the two letters switched around. I don't know why I haven't changed it, but um, Facebook, which would probably be sharing the crap out of this, so you'd be able to find me. But it's Mikey Gulino, Gulino. Same with the YouTube. I'll be posting promos and stuff. And for anyone out there, try to find me, talk to me, come to the show. I'm a nice guy. I might not be so nice through that curtain, but I try to it's hard for me to keep that heel mentality outside the ring. I ain't gonna lie about that. I try a little bit, but I try to shake hands with a mean look on my face. So
Yeah.
yeah, man, but thanks for having me, man. This is a lot of fun.
Yeah, man. Thank you for being the first guest of the Rainstorm.
Yeah.
Um, pretty successful. Now,
Thank you, brother.
on to the hard part of editing and getting it online.
Yeah, man. Well, I'll look forward to it, and I'll be sharing the shit out of it, along with probably the Galino family and the real Galino family too, because they love all that too. So I'm a very lucky man to have such great friends and a great family. So
All right, man. I'm Ryan Rain. This is Mikey Gulino. Thanks for listening to the Rainstorm.
yeah.